Okay.
Hello, welcome to the Flex Your Influence Spotlight. I'm Margaret Hernandez, and I am your host and founder of Socialize LA. And I am here with our guest, Diana Dibble. Hello.
Hello.
And in just a minute, Diana is going to tell us a little bit about her company. And before we did that, I asked her for just a minute to remind us what this show is, why I started it, and what the purpose is. So the Flex Your Influence Spotlight is a component of our lifestyle here at Socialize LA, which is Flex Your Influence. And I want to say that I came up with that phrase or hashtag probably about 8 years ago. And to give you context, we turned 15 in December. And the reason I did that was because a lot of what I did in my work was to inspire women business owners like Diana and I to step out of their comfort zone and get their content online. Why? Because there's obvious reasons why we are doing that to this day. And I wanted them to understand that even though maybe their social media and their online brand wasn't built out, that these small business owners still had a lot of clout out in the city. And the reason why they wanted, they used their clout to raise awareness on not only their own business for their own gain, but for organizations that they love, for causes that they care about, for their community, for other people's business. So I would use that as an example to get them excited to say, you know what, I do need to build my digital footprint because it's just going to help, right, Diana? So
Yeah.
these were my issues. These were the problems that I was solving way back then. So that's hashtag flex your influence. And so as a person who is not going to preach something that I'm not going to practice myself, I designed this show to bring people on, not so much to talk about the business that they're in, but I wanted to just ask them like what's inspiring them, and where's their energy right now, because all of that is infectious. So Diana, whether or not someone's watching and they have a need for a service or a product, I know that as business owners, when we hear about the awesome journeys and stories of others, it's just super powerful. So that's just a reminder of why this show exists. And the people you see on the show came to me in a way where I've known them for years. Diana and I have known each other for several years through NABO, the National Association of Women Business Owners. And Diana, I laugh because like basically everyone on the show and I have met through NABO.
Well,
And yeah,
you flex your influence and they flex their reach. So it all works together.
that's so funny. It's so true. Just such an advocate of the organization because what it's meant to me personally. But anyway, so that's why this show exists. And I have conversations with people, and then it's like for this time, I definitely, I give an invitation, and thank you for accepting that, Diana. And this is why we're here. So if any of you who are watching this are wanting to go take your company to the next level, or your career for that matter, you don't even have to be a business owner, or maybe you want to launch a company, these are the conversations that matter. And so Diana, please let us know, tell us a little bit about you and what you're up to in your business these days.
Well, thank you for that wonderful introduction. So, Diana Dibble, who am I? I am a serial entrepreneur who started as a reluctant entrepreneur. So, I actually have 5 businesses and 2 businesses that I'm a silent partner in. My oldest business, Design to Delivery Inc., is a federal government contractor, and we work in the acquisitions offices. It's an award-winning company. We're on the Inc. 5000 list of the fastest growing privately held U.S. businesses for 4 consecutive years.
And
So
this
my
is how
business
I
partner,
met you, is
that's
through this business. Yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And my business partner, Molly Gimmel, she and I have been partners for 22 years. And she's also my connection to NABO because she has done everything from being a chapter president all the way to being the board chair of the National Board of Directors.
She's an amazing NABO champion.
She really is. She's a great inspiration to a lot of people.
Yep.
So one of my other businesses, one of my newer businesses, Tripod Coaching and Consulting, that's been a project of love. And it's something that I wanted to do for years. And I kind of put it off because I was doing business operations consulting for companies who would call me with their oh shit moments. And I'm good at it. And I said, one day I'm going to do this. And I really love business operations, everything business operations. And I've come up with this unique methodology of sitting between the revenue generating and non-revenue generating sides of businesses. Most people focus on one or the other. I know both sides and I sit in the middle. So I get that company, the two areas to talk to each other. And then I also do business coaching. But Tripod, the reason it was born in the manner it was is because in November 2021, I was diagnosed with 2 brain tumors. And I had brain surgery on one of them in December 2021. So I come out of surgery, and it was long. I thought it was only going to be a few hours. It was much longer. And apparently said to my surgeon, something good has to come of this. And he's like, that's nice. Go back to sleep. But I thought about it because what originally was supposed to be 3 weeks out of the office. And I asked him, I said, can we tell him 5? I haven't had a vacation in a while. And he's like, yeah, whatever you want to do. I ended up being out for 6.5 months. Because I had to have radiation treatment because of a whole longer story. And it's on the Tripod website if you're interested. But what I realized is design to delivery was in really good shape because I had spent 2 decades building the operational infrastructure of the company. Most companies don't. They focus on revenue. And if you want a sustainable or scalable business, you have to have a strong infrastructure.
Okay, that just gave me the chills because that's like the secret sauce. And I know this. And it's something that you think you know, but is it in practice?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yep. I love it. I love it.
I literally had weeks from the time I found out the diagnosis to actually being in the hospital.
Yeah.
All I had to leave for Molly was a page of, here's some due dates of stuff, and here's how you do ACHs and wires. Everything else had been documented. And I had cross-trained the VP of Business Operations and had basically hired her as a business operations manager and promoted her to VP over the years.
Yeah.
Most companies are not set up in such a way that if something happens, that they have the operational infrastructure. And it doesn't have to be, you have brain surgery, because I'm telling you, that was not on my bingo card. It can be something like, I want to hire employees. I want to grow. I want to expand to another state.
Yeah.
I want to, in cases like needing to hire you, I want to expand my digital footprint so people know about what I'm doing. Or I want to take off some time because I have an aging parent, or I want to go back to school and get a degree, or I want to take a vacation.
Yeah.
So these are all things. This is my deal.
Now, when we spoke, and what's funny, I remember I was in Target while we were talking, and so that's what I'm picturing right now. But just if you could quickly, because I do have some questions that I want to ask, and
sure.
And I want to, but I want you to tell me, what's the tripod again?
Oh, my favorite, and it's so funny because I realized later. After I came up with the name, I've been talking about tripods for 25 years from my first business before design to delivery. It's your accountant, your banker, your attorney, and that's your business attorney, employment attorney, if you have employees, your trademark attorney, because a lot of people forget this trademark thing. I have 2 trademarks, and a tripod is only 2.5 years old.
Yeah.
And then sitting on top of your tripod, those are your legs. Sitting on top is your insurance broker. And that's your health insurance, your life insurance, disability insurance, business insurance, and also your financial planner. So somebody who's doing 401k or some kind of retirement.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a part that business owners forget. Yep. We're like, oh my God, I just want to get paid from doing this. but you forget that you need to be putting something aside, because otherwise you're going to be like 800 years old and still working.
Right. Diana, and what I love that, I mean, just the fact that you're saying this to me, and if I was listening to this, I would say, oh, wow, if she's talking about this, that must mean I'm not the only one. Like, I'm not the only one, and this is common, and it is common.
Yeah.
If we why?
Because people talk about revenue, because who doesn't like money? And usually revenue generating activities involve things like going to events, networking. You might get to get dressed up and go to a gala, but doing things that are people oriented that seem to be fun. And business operations is perceived to be boring. Do I look like somebody who's boring? No. I mean, seriously. No. So it because you think, oh, numbers, that's dry, or even more so. I don't know how to do that. So if I just pretend it doesn't exist, then I don't have to worry about it.
So, okay. So in a nutshell, for this moment, I want you to, if you're listening, watching the repeat, Diana's contact is inside the show notes. And she is brilliant. And I'm assuming, I have not been a client of yours yet, but I would assume that you're like me and that there's some fun to be had in the work.
In the work, but also in the results.
Yeah.
Because when your company is running more efficiently, I mean, one of the big things, I had somebody who called me, they were getting sued. And I get people all the time who have some employee that they're getting sued about because they don't have processes and procedures. But where people don't realize that a lot of money gets lost or left on the table is they don't know how to properly price their services or products, because they look at, oh, I was making X amount as an employee.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll just do that. So I was making $100,000. So I'll charge, let's see, that I was making, let's say 50. So I'll charge $75, and that's good.
Right.
Yeah, but 33% of what you were being paid goes into a thing called fringe, which is your health insurance, your payroll taxes, all sorts of other stuff. But if you have a big opportunity and you're not considering what the costs that go into doing it, do you need to get more computers or office space or office supplies, or you're going to travel more? If you don't put all of that stuff into your cost, you're going to be underwater. You're never going to be able to even break even. You're going to always be losing money, and you're going to wonder, why don't I have any money?
And this is a great lesson too. And this is a big sector of new businesses are professionals who are now going out on their own.
Yeah. And it's not just new businesses. They're people who've been out for a while and somehow they've managed to not get caught. But let's say you get that big opportunity that you've been going after, and you didn't think about any of that stuff that had to go in, and it can be crazy. And the other thing people don't have is they don't have contracts.
Yep.
I mean, like, how are you going to get paid? What's breach of contract? You can't have breach of contract if you don't have four corners of the document. That's what the judges will say. If you take it to court, what is the four corners of the document? What does the contract say? A lot of people don't have good contracts.
Well, this is great, and I know we could continue.
You know what? We will do another one of these.
Yes, we can
talk about these stuff.
Because what's funny is that I'm like, we don't talk shop on the Flex Your Influence Spotlight, but we can't help it because shop is so fun, and shop is. I am not. It's not a shameful thing for me to say that my business is my business, and it's also one of my favorite things to do and to talk about.
Guilty. And you know what? It's so funny because you gave me this.
I saw that. That's it.
This is not just it. This is so much. And it's not just your work life. It's your life. Yeah. Be excited about the possibilities. And I keep this where I can see it, because when I come in my office every day, it's the first thing that I can see when I come over to turn on my computer. So I keep
love
this right close to me.
Yeah.
Because that's why we are excited about the possibilities.
Yep.
We're excited about what we do, not just because we're growing our businesses, but we're helping other people get
Do
their
it.
dreams, you
That's
know?
right.
Like,
we're cheering people on, you
yeah,
know, and that's something I hear, and I'm sure you do too, because as a fractional person, and you're a fractional as well, so a fractional CMO, I can come in just like I'm an aunt. I'm not a mom, I'm an
Mhm.
aunt. And I can come in with this energy and this, because I'm right, I'm
Yeah,
playing in my best space. Not everyone could live this life of moving around and bouncing from company to company and staying organized, but that's where we thrive.
yeah, yeah.
So, you know, and
I'm
it's
a Gemini. I need to have different
I,
stuff going on because that's what we do. If you come over to my house, I'm always rearranging some furniture
yeah,
because that's how and my planners. Oh my God.
our planners. Oh my gosh. You know, I haven't even
That's
asked
only
you one
some of them.
question yet. So I'm going to change this up, because we did talk about some very important topics. And at the end of the day, I would rather people have some solid advice to run on than to be inspired. For just a second, take an inspiration break.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, I think what you're saying is very important. And when you shared it with me, it did seem like, oh, well, this is all, a lot of this is like, yeah, we should already know this. Sure, but knowing and doing is different.
Why would you know it? Most people don't talk about it unless your
I
parents
would
did
say
it.
no, yeah. No, I meant the conversation that you and I had, everything made sense.
Yeah, yeah,
But you
yeah.
don't know the formula. And so it's like, I loved the simplicity of that, because if you just start working, it doesn't have to be, I mean, obviously this is your business and you know how to get people there, but I'm thinking, wow, if I just started addressing each of those, it's like, okay, if I need to get my legal team together, who do I need to consult? What's my first step to
Hmm.
doing that, right?
And those are people, just the tribe. They're not industries. They are people.
They're people.
If you're a business owner and you have a bank 800 number that you call, you need a person who will be in your corner.
Yes. Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
Yep. I like your cup, by the way.
Thank you. I'm on the West Coast, as you can tell. I don't know if you could tell, actually.
Yeah, between the sunshine and everything.
The
Yeah.
oranges. Can you tell there's oranges?
Yeah, I can see. I can
Okay.
just see some of them. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So you're
I'm
either
at
in Florida
my
or
mom's house.
California.
Mm-hmm. This is lovely. We can do business wherever we need to. And it is a beautiful, beautiful situation. Not without its challenges.
Yeah,
But Diana, these videos also it's selfishly, it's an outlet for me as well, because I don't get out a lot in business. In real life.
Yeah.
So much of my world is here.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I'm forcing myself to do is to get out and go to in-person events.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard.
Well,
Peopling
because
is
you get
hard.
spoiled. Why, it's hard for different reasons. I feel like I'm just spoiled because I'm thinking I would just rather call the person that I want to network with, but obviously we need to be meeting people.
Mhm. And there's also, if you do that, you can usually be like, I'm hungry. Anybody want to go get some food?
Right.
That part.
Yeah.
That part. So
Yeah.
there's things, there's upsides to it. Try
What
new
has you
restaurants I have.
what has you excited right now?
Oh my gosh. I mean, so much. I am actually Brain Tumor Awareness Month starts in May. And one of the things that I did 2 years ago was I used that as a way to announce my diagnosis and being a brain tumor survivor. And I raised $5,000 So what I am doing right now is I'm working on a fundraising website for my reconstructive plastic surgeon who is doing clinical trials about facial paralysis. And it just so happens that that was one of the things that happened after my surgery. So I'm looking to raise anywhere from $50,000 to $75,000 because he has been doing this out of pocket. And I
Wow.
have a lot of people who owe me favors. So
You're going to flex your influence.
I am going to flex hard. So I am hoping to have that done in the next probably week and a half or so. So it's ready to go May 1. So
Okay.
I'm really, really excited about that. And then I have one of my clients, I cannot say who, but we have been working for the last 10 months. And I even told her, and I don't do this for everybody. So anybody who's out there, I'm not going to do this for everybody, but we basically having to restructure the entire company. And because of cash flow, she's like, I don't have money to pay right now. And I said, you know what? I really believe in you. So I'm going to do this on the back end. So we've got some really, really, really cool stuff that's getting ready to happen for her. And I am just over the moon. Over the moon.
But that's wonderful because these are things that we can do. It's not things that we can always do, but there's certain projects that we're to do these things for. I love that. That is wonderful. Thank you for sharing. So if you wouldn't mind, what do you have when you have the back end of the fundraising, please send it because I can attach it to to this episode. And again, if people resonate, right? Even if 2 people who are watching this have been inspired by anything that we've said, then all of this is worth it to me, Diana. What about you?
Oh, 100,000 million%. Is that, I don't even know how many zeros that would be.
Well, some know-it-all would come in here right now and say, well, you can never actually be more than 100%, which gets.
But if you get into an esoteric multi-universe kind of thing,
Thank you.
Good.
But
the thing that I would love to say to somebody who's out there who's thinking about starting a business, has recently started a business, or has even been in business for a while, don't be afraid to reach out for help. Yeah. It is not a sign of weakness. I mean, I have been in government contracting for 37 years. That's longer than a lot of people I know have been alive. Yeah. And I still ask people for help. I still go. So I would tell somebody, if you're doing that, don't be afraid to ask for help. But also, if you're thinking about doing something, don't be afraid to take the leap. And if you do it, you don't have to be alone. And if you're a woman business owner, really look into NAWBO, National Association of Women Business Owners. That has been a huge, huge, huge help. I have made friends all over the country, like Margaret. Like she said, we've known each other for years. But it's really a great environment. And you also don't have to be a woman to be a member. You can be one of the NAWBROs. So, organizations like that really make a difference. And whatever you're doing in life, try to find the funny and try to see the upside, even when it doesn't seem like things are great. Sometimes that's just the way it is. And it just may not be for forever. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Love, love, love it. But you nailed it on the head on your first point that you made when you said, ask for help. It's not a sign of weakness, because to say that next December I've been in business for 15 years, Diana, doesn't compute to me at all, because it still feels like
brand new.
Under 5 years. That's how it feels. Yeah. But it's not so, obviously. But so I just can relate to those moments where I'm like, well, I can't ask because I should already know this.
Bull. Really. I left the rest of that out, but really. Yeah.
I know.
I mean, I asked for help, and I have a lot of years experience. Yep. But sometimes even if it's just to say to somebody, this is what I'm thinking. Do I have this wrong? And sometimes I do.
Yep.
So they'll keep me out of trouble. But other times they might be like, why are you calling me? And I'm like, because I always will call when I'm not sure, because I'd rather be told I'm right than to be like, oh boy, now you've created a no shit moment. And I can't call myself to fix it, because I'm the person that you call with those shit moments. I'm not supposed to be creating them.
Yeah.
So that's the
No,
easiest way not to do it. Ask
I
for
think
help.
that's great. And I want to add to that. And I want to say, don't take yourself or take it all so seriously. I mean, I take what I do extremely seriously.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I I want to leave room to be wrong. I want to leave room for allow others who are smarter than me in certain areas and stronger in certain areas to shine, and then I'm going to play in my lane. Like, these are all like my greatest epiphanies from the last couple years, and it's just such a more peaceful
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle than over caring to an unhealthy point.
I mean, it has its place. It has its place.
Yeah.
But, sometimes even when something seems really, really just horrible and on, sometimes it's just a matter of taking a breath. And then again, you can usually find the good in just about everything,
Sure.
because finding out that you have two brain tumors, are going to have surgery, are probably going to be blind, and you will have a permanent disability, and you will have for the rest of your life at least two brain tumors. That's a lot of bad news. So, what I took away from that was a lot of good things. But I also found out that I had a peanut head before I had my surgery. So I didn't have to worry about that so much. I came away with a really great scar. So I can tell people I was in a bar fight. So you can come up, you can usually find the humorous in it, but you also have to give yourself space to be able to say,
Yeah. Ooh, book that I'm reading right now on Spotify. The Mountain Is You.
ooh,
So good. Read the intro. I'm telling you, I would never tell you that something is good if it's not. Read the intro. If it's something you need right now, I highly recommend you do the whole thing. But yeah, that's awesome. And I want to say, Diana, sitting here with you is actually really exciting because I can remember this. Did this start during COVID or right before?
You know what? We've talked about so many projects. We can't,
No,
but
no, no.
I
Talking
have to
about
plug
your.
this really quick.
Oh
There's
yeah.
a great book for you. Bandit. It's by my brother. It's his first book. I'm actually his manager.
Oh, his
So
manager.
I do all. Tripod represents his company,
I love that.
and I do all the stuff. So if you guys want a really interesting, but this is a great book, and he started selling a whole and getting a lot of feedback. So add that to it.
Awesome.
But we've been talking about this for years. We've had all these great ideas and all the stuff that we wanted to do.
Oh yeah. Oh, that stuff. Well,
we still have to do that.
So, okay, I'm going to ask. So Diana and I have a common love, and that common love is planners. Now, Diana, now that I'm so mobile, my planner life has changed.
Oh, I'm sure.
Since I don't stay mobile. I mean, stationary generally, or I'm not driving everywhere, and these things need to go on my body.
Yeah, right.
So Diana and I are like planner users to where we even have we do have the need to have multiple planners that we use for different parts of our life. So this is something that we wanted to put together some kind of a workshop for other business owners so we can show you how we organize. And you don't necessarily need to take our system because the system is like so personal.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just to see how it's being done, and then you find your own system.
Yeah, exactly. That is the key, because I think some of the things that go out have this, you have to do it this way, and if you don't, you're doing it wrong. It's like, no. I mean, and it evolves. It evolves based on where you are. Like, I'm a big sticker fan, but things changed after my surgery, so I had to like kind of relearn how to do some stuff. But as you see, These aren't even all of them. There's a whole nother one of these on the other side. They all serve a purpose, and some of them are for a business, but some are also for some projects I'm working on. Some are for training. Like I have two of them that's just training.
Tracking. I like to track with them. Journal sometimes. I like to. I took my mom. This is the mistake number one, to a planner meetup in downtown Disney about 10 years ago. No, 8 years ago. And she tells me, we're sitting there and she doesn't know about multiple planners yet. And this poor girl sitting next to me with her planner stack. And my mom, and she's talking to my mom, and my mom's like, wait, you have more than one planner? And the girl looked at my mom like she was from another planet, because my mom just could not believe this world. So this world is actually, it's very big. There's conferences, there's multiple vendors. I know Diana I've seen your planner before, and I'm like, oh, I know that brand, I know that insert.
And I now mix and match. I have gotten this really dialed in to the way I need it.
I love that. See,
and the best thing I ever found was blank paper.
To make your own.
Yeah, or even better, the lined ones. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah.
Lined paper, and since it's on a binder, I have tabs that I got, so I have tabs in, so I can, and then once they do, I just put them on, what do you call it? The inserts for the rings.
Yeah.
You can buy them with nothing else attached on Amazon.
Yeah.
So when I need to get them out, I put them in there so they stay organized.
I love that. And then and I like to, like, space and creativity is obviously something that I'm always honing in on. And sometimes when I just want to be alone with one project, it's nice to have it in one thing. Mm-hmm. So because I have so many like covers, I'll have it covered, maybe not with a planner, but I'll cover a notebook, and then that becomes a project planner or not. Yeah.
And there's so many things that you can get. Like this one, I really like. It's a zipper. And what I put inside is I have this one I've got to start, but I have just blank paper.
Oh, nice.
So I'm using this to jot down ideas for a book I'm writing. Actually,
I love it.
Kind of have but I also have other ones that are just soft bound.
Nice.
And they travel really,
and they're
really
just
well.
Nice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if anyone's wondering this question, I'm going to answer it for you right now. Why do they have to be so intricate? Because obviously they're also very beautiful. And my answer, and Diana, I'll let you think of your answer. My answer is that I work so often, and it's such a big part of my life, that everything that I'm working with, I like it to be pretty.
Yeah. I mean, really, in a nutshell, it's all personal. And it's so funny because I have tripods colors are blue and a soft green.
Yeah.
So I have colors that are tripod colors, but designed to delivery is burgundy. So this one is a design to delivery because it's burgundy.
Oh, I love that.
So I'm able to color code, and then I have some neutral ones, which are the ones I usually have training and stuff in it.
Yeah.
So I think it's really all about finding out what works for you. And it may be absolute simplicity, but Margaret, I don't know if you can see over here, I stole this from you. This whole organized thing that's there. You probably, I don't know if you can see.
I see it
there. And also with the thing on top, because I'm able to keep my highlighters organized, because I highlight and the colors indicate priority.
Sure.
So that's what works for me. Some people don't need that. They just need pen and paper and they're good. And other people want digital, because I also have on my new phone and my tablet and two of my new computers have pins with them. So I can go on and write notes, and they will become like text.
Yeah.
So I can use the electronic and I do it in concert. So I have a Google Calendar that I use with my Outlook calendar with this, but I have 9 calendars I have to manage.
Yeah. No, I
So
get
why not do something where I can look at it and say, this is so
This
pretty.
is so
I like it.
pretty. I love it. No,
You
and I
know?
love that you brought up the caddy. So she's mentioning a caddy, and I got the idea from, planner people, but this is when I had a whole room in my home that was just my office. So
Right.
things have drastically changed. And so now like everything is like I'm learning how to like have to simplify. And
Mm-hmm.
Diana, some of it I'm not cutting back on. Like I still have a more than a person who has the size of apartment that I do in New York. I have more supplies than you probably would want, but I have to because I need it.
I mean, it's because it works for you. I mean, that's the whole thing
Yeah.
about trends. There's certain trends that are out there with clothes. Like I'm a person who loves shoes, and I've always loved my heels. But right now, because I'm partially blind, I have balance problems. So I haven't really been able to wear my heels, although I do go into my dressing room and talk to them. I'm like, hi, mommy misses you. So if there's a trend out there that is with heels, I can't participate. Do I feel bad? No,
Right.
because, whatever. So it's the same thing with like planners. If there's a trend out there and you either don't like it or can't do it for whatever reason, don't feel bad.
Yeah.
Don't feel bad.
Yep.
Because, if you have a system that works,
Yep.
then let it work. Let it work. And
Let it work.
if you wanted to change it because it's not working so well, there's plenty of groups that you can join and be like, okay, I'm doing this. It's not working anymore. What do you suggest?
Yep. And if someone like is really serious about their planners, that's like one conversation I'm always willing to have. Someone
Right?
asked me like, I need a planner. I looked at them like as serious as can be, and I'm like, are you being serious, or are you mocking me?
Right.
Because if you're mocking me, I'm not even going to give you the time of day. But if you're serious, I have some questions before we get started.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I did a whole thing on my YouTube channel, which I had to take a pause from, and so I've been getting back to it. But I had on that, and then also my Dibble 613 Instagram profile. Some of the biggest views of stuff I've done have been about the planner stuff.
Wow.
I had some, I think, have 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 views, and it's like, yeah, but I'm telling people how they're not going to get arrested for not doing something with their business, and I get, maybe 1,000 or whatever. But I tell you about stickers, and I get 40,000 views.
Well, and Diana, that's why this show is not about the business that we do, because I know that what do we relate with? And the more we're talking right now, I'm like, wow, women business owners. In the top of my mind, I'm always thinking, like, how do we show the value of Nabo? I know this is not what this is about, but that's like the question of the decade, because I feel like it's not perfected, the language. And so here, as I sit with you, I'm like, wow, women business owners are so unique, because look at, there's a certain things that we relate on, and some of these things are very relatable, and it's okay to talk about. It actually helps us. If I told people like my beautiful stationery actually helps me to perform better, my gorgeous technology also helps me to perform better. It does, just like cute gym clothes help me work out better.
I want that. You know what? Somebody said to me once.
I'm listening. Hold on.
When I used to run and I do races, and they're like, why do you have makeup on? And I was like, because I look like I'm dying if I don't have makeup on, and I don't want them to call 911 thinking for a woman. And then they said, well, I mean, like your shoes match your outfit, you have makeup on and on. I said, look, you have to understand, I am one of the slowest runners out there.
Yeah.
I get my money's worth with me and my slow running. I said, but because I'm so slow, the pictures that they take of me on the race course are going to come out clear, because if I ran fast, it would be blurry, but I'm slow, so it's going to be so I need to
Yeah.
look good for the picture. And they're like,
Right.
what the? And I was like, look, I'm not the fastest runner, and I never will be. I'm fast for short distances, but if I'm doing a half marathon, I'm only going to be but so fast. But I am going to definitely be cute, and my outfit is going to match
And I'm
with
gonna
my
have fun.
shoes. And if I have a hat on, it's going to coordinate, and I also even coordinated my hydration.
Yeah.
So, we do what we want to do. And people are
I
like, that's
know.
ridiculous. You should focus on getting faster. And I was like, I am 20 years older than you. And so it is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, thanks for the advice. Well,
Yeah.
Diana, this was amazing. If I'm going to shock you, but we've been talking for 40 minutes, and I love it because we have so much to talk about, and we just need to be thinking about, how I think, we bring value to the community somehow, in the things that we do day to day. I know I'm pretty generous with my time. I definitely spend a lot of time with other NABO people, women business owners, but somehow, some way, just the more we do together and the more we collaborate, it helps to build business. It
Community.
does community, and community builds business.
Yeah.
And so I want to remind everyone that if this is a season, and I don't want to get like the I don't want to we're in a bubble sometimes, and right now I just want to acknowledge that there is life out of the bubble. We live in a crazy world, and I feel like the small business community is still like my bit of heaven,
Yeah.
because I happen to work with some of the most amazing people all the time. So I know that there's just something awesome about the small business community. So if you are a small business owner, if you know a small business owner, like, thank you for all the support, and thank you for continuing to do what you do, and for the things that you do that people do not know about.
Yes.
So we're all here in this together, and it is my pleasure to be here with you, Diana. And what I wanted to say, but we were going in so many directions, is that I remember when you were fighting, and when you got your diagnosis, and I remember just the NABO team, and then we were just so sad, and we were so scared, and we were really, thinking about you, praying for you, and pushing for you. So, and that's how much we take life for granted, because I don't think I've ever sat down and just said, wow, I'm so glad that you've come out of that. I mean, obviously I am, but to remember what that was real. That
Mm-hmm.
was real scary. It was, so to acknowledge that that's something crazy to come out of, crazy awesome.
Well, it scared people more than it scared me, because I was pretty matter of fact about it. But I
Yeah.
will say this, it's an ongoing fight, and it will be. And I thought it was going to be, stitches come out, you're healed, let's move on. And apparently, I have a several more years of recovery, assuming nothing else goes wrong. And I'm just like, whatever it is, I'll take it as it comes. But I will say that my Navo sisters really rallied behind me. And I mean, people sent me, I got socks, because they're like, we know your feet are going to be cold. Here's socks. I got chocolates and food and flowers and calls and cards and prayers and all sorts of stuff. And from people that I didn't even really know so very well, took time out to do that. And this is the power of community, not just from a social standpoint, and not even from a business standpoint, but people who really, really care. And sometimes there's a lot of people who are in a situation like mine who don't have that.
Yeah.
I'm lucky. I have a very strong family, friends, and the outside, the community at large to support me, which is why I am a part of a lot of groups. And there are people who don't have anybody, or people who had people and they just have been abandoned. So if you have, if anybody's listening, you find out somebody has something, just a call, a card, a kind word can really, really go places. And
Yeah.
that is why I decided to go public with something that was so private.
Yeah.
And Johns Hopkins did a patient story about me. And a copy is on my YouTube channel, which is at Dibble 613.
Okay.
But I wanted to use my story. And as I've said on many keynotes that I've given and other speaking engagements, my story may be someone's roadmap for survival.
Yeah.
I am hope. I am what happens when adversity is thrown at you, because adversity can be the catalyst for change. So it doesn't have to be this specific. It could be something going on in somebody's world. But again, a kind word, somebody reacts some way, certain way, and it seems a little out of character or a little over much. Take a breath, because that person may be going through something that they can't even articulate.
Yes.
So sometimes a kindness can be
Yeah.
the difference between somebody feeling completely hopeless and alone to, wow,
Yeah.
somebody cared, even if it was just for a minute.
Yeah.
That got deep, but still, I
No, I love
every
that.
opportunity I can to give this message.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I'll stay there for just a minute because I was just I have a friend, I call her my muse. She is the owner of Evolving by Design, and her planner is beautiful. It's a different type of planner. She's like, "Will you really need this because you have so many planners?" And I said, "Yeah, this is completely different." I'm like,
Are
"Are
you
you kidding
kidding?
me?"
What is the question? I don't understand
I
the
don't
question.
understand it. But anyway, one of those things that she has some exercises, and one of the things that I'm really adamant and it is a goal of mine is to give grace to myself and to others, because the person that I am is a person that wants it yesterday. And it's not just a standard I have on other people, it's a standard I have on myself. And I'm like, okay, Margaret, drill sergeant Margaret, we're like coming down. And this is like years of like not wanting to be that way because it's just not fun, and it doesn't come from a good place. So I'm very good about that now. But one of those things is like I want to have extra grace because now people, and then I'm constantly reading and like listening to podcasts about, emotional intelligence and like just like working on things that I want to work on in myself. And I am like, not everyone's doing that.
They're not. They're not. I
They're
have to
not.
tell you, because people like me have invisible illnesses. I mean,
Oh, right.
I have a disability. I
Yeah.
am partially blind, and I sometimes I have to be very careful if I turn right, because a lot of times I'll lose my balance. And some days, especially if it's getting ready to storm and on, I can be a little bit unsure on my feet. So a lot
Yeah.
of times I will use the handicap stall in the bathroom.
Oh,
And this
yeah.
woman came in, and I mean, she was like, that's for people with disabilities. She said handicap. She wanted to use the word people who are handicapped. And I said, yes, I'm aware. Well, don't you think you should just, somebody might come in? I said, or somebody who has a disability is using it. And she goes, oh, who, you? And
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. She goes, you don't have a disability. I said, I
Oh, God.
don't. And you'll love this because you know me. I said, I don't. And she said, no, of course you don't. I mean, look at you. And I said, so can I ask you a question? And she said, sure. I said, what constitutes a disability? Because I have 2 brain tumors. I had brain surgery. I have 6 plates and 12 screws in my head. I'm partially blind.
Yeah.
And if this thing gets any tighter on my carotid artery, it'll probably kill me. So I have to be very careful. And I'm unsure on my feet. So, when do I become able to use this stall? And
Yeah.
he went pale. And
Yeah.
I looked at her and I said, sometimes people's disabilities are ones that you can't see.
Right.
And so you don't get to make the call.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a disability, then you shouldn't use it. And
Right.
then let everybody else be.
Yeah.
And I kind of walked off. And my friend who was with me, she's like, that woman has a disability now. And I said, what do you mean? He said, you just destroyed everything about her. But I'm like, it just infuriates me that I have to justify that I have a disability.
Yeah.
So, it's really, really hard, but it also gives me the opportunity. And maybe next time I won't be so mean because it was kind of early on and I was still mad about having a
Yeah.
disability. But, we have to kind of give grace because there are a lot of people out there with invisible disabilities, and it is very, very hard for them to function because their friends will say to them, "Well, you don't look sick." And I'm like, "I'm sorry. Is that a
Yeah.
prerequisite that I have to
And
look
I'll
that
also
way?"
say people with a disability who make it look easy, because I have people in my circle who have both,
Mhm.
and people don't take it, so it's like, let's just have grace with people. And someone might be perfectly healthy and need all the grace as well.
Right, exactly, exactly. I mean, it's not just that. I mean, most people have something going on,
We all have something going.
you
It's just like,
know?
let's just be a little nicer. I was going to say something rude and say, well, I would never have any contact with the general public that close anyway, so I wouldn't be in that conversation.
I mean,
You always
really.
see me with the dark sunglasses.
Well, truthfully, but then I kind of laugh because you kind of have to see the humor because I was so swollen after my surgery that I was just like, oh my god, I'm gonna scare little children and on and on and on. And then I looked at a picture and I was like, I look like Stewie because my head was like football shaped. So I sent a picture of Stewie with a picture of me next to it, and I did a collage. And my friend, like, people are like, "Oh no, you don't look like that." And one of my best friends sent me a message. She goes, "Nailed it." Thought that was the funniest thing in the world because sometimes you just have to laugh.
You do have to laugh. You
Yeah.
do have to laugh. And one day I'll tell you about my mom had a brain, not the same thing, and there was a period of time where she couldn't speak, and we did have moments still of laughter and all of that. And but even though she's someone that, sometimes we need to give her a break too, because if you've ever had your brain operated on, like, give someone
Yeah.
a minute to catch up on something, and she's made it look easy as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So, but this is awesome, Diana. We do have other things to talk about. I mean, we have to figure out how we want to present our love of planners in support of helping others, to get to this place. Because you know what? One of the things that makes me so sad is when someone's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go buy a planner," and they barely, like, half-heartedly even know what that means.
Mhm.
And because this is when you buy planners that you don't use because you're using a system that doesn't
Doesn't work for you.
work. So there's, like, questions that you need to ask yourself, which we're not going to get into this right now, but it's like, how do you like looking at your week? And do you like to write, or do you prefer a calendar? You Some people's planner, which is one of my systems right now, Diana, is I
Mm.
use a very thin notebook.
Hmm.
It started in London, and it lays flat, and I can write big, and then after about 2 months it's all full,
Hmm.
and I can save it because it's small, and then I just move on to another one, and it fits in everything I do. But then I put post-its on there. It's like a
Yeah.
day to
Yeah.
day, but I can miss a couple days if I need to.
But
Anyway,
it works. It
it
works
works.
for you. And
Yeah.
that's whatever it is, like people are like, "Oh, I tried this diet, it didn't work." It's like, "Well, that's not the right diet." Well, I'm just never going to diet again. I
Yeah,
tried a planner, it didn't work for me. I'm never going to use a planner again. I mean, it's the same kind of thing. You
it is
didn't
the same
find
kind
the
of
right planner for what you need to do. I mean,
yeah,
whatever it may be, whether it's a planner, a diet, a romantic relationship, a shopping spree,
a
whatever it
business.
may be,
Mhm.
it has to be something that speaks to you and works for you. And if not, it doesn't mean that it never will. It just, that's not the right one. We just keep
That's right.
looking. Yeah.
All right, my friend. Well, you have an awesome Monday afternoon. It's only Monday. We have all week to
Hey,
work our goals.
I'm gonna go eat breakfast.
Oh, I love that. Okay, good.
It's 6:15. I haven't had breakfast yet.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that
Okay.
I'm in trouble with like 5 doctors right now, but that's
Okay, one of
okay.
those days. I have those days. Oh my gosh. I don't have them here in California. My in New York, I on the East Coast, I can easily go all day without one piece of anything. I don't know how.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to do that,
No,
but
no one is, I don't think.
well, some people, but the dog got me up at 4:45 this morning. And then once I finally, kind of woke up, I was like, oh crap, I'm late. And so I've been doing deadlines and stuff all day, but I have check mark, check mark, check mark, check mark
Good. It's a good
in my
feeling.
planner. So now I don't have to do anything else. I'm making a big thing of popcorn and I'm going to probably make a grilled cheese sandwich and I'm going to watch Godzilla movies.
I love it. I love it, Diana. Thank you so much. And we will catch you on another. And everyone have an awesome rest of your Monday. Bye.
Bye.